I mean, Mad Max to the super chat says, "Coop Machiavelli has Pac's best rap performance. Just on blasphemy, I never heard Pac rhyme like that. They say Moses split the Red Sea. I split a blunt and roll a fat one. I'm deadly. Babylon beware."
No, okay, so
Mike performances. I'm glad we're getting these
no, the
keywords
beautiful
in.
thing about Pop was, and this is what I mean. People forget he was only 25 when he passed, and he had done a bevy worth of work, but he was becoming a much better and polished MC. And I'm going to tell you why that was. You have to understand, he came around in a time where Biggie and Nas and Jay were not around, and their influence was
You're right.
not around. When he was locked up, you have to understand, he's getting locked up while Illmatic and Ready to Die are still simmering in the streets. Do not tell me that shit did not make him a better MC while he is sitting in prison watching these dudes talk about how great Nas and Biggie are on the mic. And yeah, do not
I
tell
mean,
me
he
that
clearly admired the work that
because
Nas
they
was doing.
influenced each other. How did it miss Pac? Me and my girlfriend, you can tell. Oh, it's like, oh, you listen to "I Gave You Power." You heard "I Gave You Power." They literally took the same fucking. They took the same sample for their albums that
Yeah.
dropped the same year.
I think as an
Yeah.
artist, you're always constantly trying to elevate. And I think Wu Tang's part of that too, because you could tell Pac was a Wu Tang fan also. And you see, like you said, when you come in at a certain stage and you see the new guys coming in who are around your age bracket, it's like, okay, well, shoot, I need to elevate certain things. The game is changing. We hear this all the time, especially from the guys in the late 80's, because the game changed so quick in the late 80's. Like one year you got Run DMC doing what they're doing, and the next year you got Paid in Full, and then things change. Then you got Public Enemy doing what they're doing. These guys had to change every year. From 88, 87 to 88, 89, those guys had to change up shit every single year. And I think that that's what Pac was kind of coming
No,
from. He was a school of, I'm coming in 90, 91. That was cool for then. But now I
yeah,
got to change things up.
like the Cool G rap that you hear on Road to Riches. That's not the MC that you hear on 456.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
not.
from I think the game starts stabilizing out maybe around like 97 ish. But from 87 to 97, niggas had to change every year. I mean, you hear the
Yes,
Fugees talk about how Blunted on Reality was delayed, and by the time it came out, that
it
style
was
that they were doing
dated.
was
It was dated
obsolete.
by the time it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were like, when we making the score, we got to be ahead of the curve. And that's the thing too when we start talking about
That's the thing
artists that
about
came up.
Rakim.
Yeah. When we start talking
Ahead
about
of the
artists
curve
that
from the
came
jump.
up in that era, we have to factor in the fact that they had to constantly elevate what they were doing. What Outkast
So
was doing wasn't an accident. They had to change who they were each time.
So I'll tell you this, and you can just take it for what it's worth.
Hmm.
Rakim never really had to change because he was already ahead.
Yeah. He was so far ahead that he just had to
Slick
continue to do what he was doing.
Slick Rick never really had to change. He was so far ahead.
Yeah.
KRS-One never had to change. He was so far ahead.
I
Like
feel like KRS bumped up his style though. I think each
that's what I mean.
time.
I think he just changed the rhetoric when Scott LaRock died. It's like, no, it's like it's all there. It's just, how about this? People understand if Scott LaRock doesn't die, KRS-One's going to be a gangster rapper.
Right. I mean, KRS One
It's
is
not that.
NWA's biggest influence
Yes,
sonically. You
like
can hear it. Yeah.
yes, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Well, I
bought
would say
myself a
public
Uzi. Hold on,
between
how does it go on the
Public
chronic?
Enemy and
Bought
them. Yeah.
myself a Uzi and a brother a nine. Where does that come from? That comes from Criminal Minded.
I think sonically it's PE Bomb Squad as far as NWA's biggest influence. But the way they attack the record, you could tell KRS One is NWA's biggest influence. Like you
I
said,
mean, Chuck
he
D.
was a
No,
gangster rapper.
Chuck D and KRS-One specifically are
Yeah.
the lyrical influence of NWA. Period. Point blank. With not even It Takes a Nation, the one before Yo Bum Rush the Show,
Yeah. Yeah.
and Criminal Minded. Yes.
Well, I think It
Yeah.
Takes a Nation. Straight Outta Compton sounds a lot like It Takes a Nation sonically.
I get what you're
The
saying.
drum pat, like the drum samples that they chose. Once again, the Funky Drummer is flipped a lot on both of those records.
The Funky Drummers flipped a lot everywhere.
Yeah.
The Funky Drummers, Clyde Stubblefield, for those of you that were unaware of like where we're taking this conversation again. Yeah. Right, he is literally the Funky Drummer.
It's all coming back around. Mad Max to the super chat says, or the line when he says, like you have you ever seen a crackhead that's internal fire? I heard that and said, this is some mythical level stuff.
No, I mean it's him matching the metaphorical and philosophical level that he's hearing Nas disseminate at the time, and he's hearing Biggie make incomparable hit records to him. Like One More Chance has come out. You feel what I'm saying? It's just like it's like as much as I love Pac, it's like, well, that's better than How Do You Want It and I Get Around.
You know, and that's why. And I'm not one of those people, and you know that. I'm not one of those people to be like, man, hip-hop ain't like it used to be. It's a lot of great hip-hop coming out.
It's a lot of great stuff.
But I really hate that Black Star didn't put this album out where everybody's able to take it in, because I think this would have been an album that could have possibly upped the level of certain things. You know what I mean? And when you have an album out there that's not generating any waves because of the platform that you don't have it on, it affects things.
We gave it. It was funny when we talked about the No Fear of Time album by Black Star. We were both like, it's so progressive and inventive and forward thinking, which is what hip hop has really been at the forefront at as well. That is part of why we gave it the 5. We gave it the 5 because we were forecasting for the first time, kind of like this. It's like we've been dug down on this for a while. And I think for you and me, Pray for Paris is so important for us.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
Pray for Paris is so important for us because we were literally only doing this podcast for a month. But when you and I heard it, I was like, but Mike, I was like, it's beautiful. And the structure and the sequence and the way it's selected.
It bumped up a level.
I was talking about the subject matter. I was like, because he's really talking from the perspective of a convicted felon that is far removed from it, but still sees it every day from his neighborhood. You know? I'm like, this is fucking beautiful and inventive. And like, it's pushing something. And I literally hadn't heard, like, I felt No Fear of Time just because of the subject matter was pushing further than even Pray for Paris, even though I don't think it's better than Pray for Paris. A lot of that is the sonics and the engineering. Because Pray for Paris is clean, and well produced and beautiful.
And you know what? Pray for Paris set the tone for what we were about to start hearing, not just from their camp, but for everybody.
Pray for Paris in a lot of ways is Illmatic.
They're going to kill you for that, but I know what you mean.
To the source is kind of what Pray for Paris means to this podcast, because it's like, I remember when you shot me the back. Remember when I texted you, I was like, that looks like the cover to a classic rap album. Yeah. I remember when I texted you that, I was like, I said, if it sounds like the way that it looks, I said, it's about to be a classic. I said, because that's what classic rap album covers look like. And then I saw the way that the lettering looked on the back, and I was like, oh shit. And then I told you, I heard that intro.
No Vacancy.
By the time No Vacancy was going off, I was like, oh shit. When George Bondo was over, I said, rap album of the year. Said he's about to make the album of the year. And he did.
George Bondo's crazy.
George Bondo's crazy. I still think it's the best song. Matter of fact, I'll take George Bondo over Brutus and Hell on Earth.
I'm not mad at you, man. I personally love Brutus, but you might be right, man. George Bondo might. I want to ask the people in the chat. George Bondo or Pete
Rock, but I think the beat to George Bondo fits what they do best.
Oh no, I agree.
Better than Brutus does. Not to say that the beat's better, but for what they do, that's the beat. And here's the thing about it. Well, West Side is great on there. Conway is great on there.
Yeah.
And it's some of Benny's best stuff. And to transition, because we haven't talked about any of the singles, I want to talk about how Benny sounds on this new Armani single, because the Liz 2 is coming.
Let's talk about it. Let me get to these super chats and we'll jump on that. T Nitty says Pac started rapping like that with the Jersey Cats. Again, everybody's influenced by everybody.
Or Coco Brothers, however they,
Yeah, no one is above influence. You know what I mean? I think we put certain people on a certain level, like they can't be influenced by other artists. But yeah, everybody gets influenced. LP with the super chat says Pac respected Nas and looked at Big like a biter.
I mean, he's not. the shit with Big is personal because he personally shared things with Big that he did not share with Nas about how to approach the music business and music and song making. So he looked at Nas like a more original copy. He looked at Biggie as somebody, it's like, well, I schooled him. I taught him. I told him. He
And you know
doesn't look
what?
at Nas that way.
I don't
He
think
looks at Nas more adversary. He looks at Nas kind of the way that, like, he looks at Nas the way Kobe used to look at LeBron, kind of.
I think the thing with him and Big too is the fact that he just
Kobe was a little older, had been around a little more, and he was Kobe, but LeBron was like the guy. And Kobe was like, nah, I don't know if he's that dude, though. Let's see if he's a killer like me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
like, he kind of looks at him that way.
I think
he doesn't look at Biggie that way.
I think the thing with Big is, like, he wanted that. He didn't feel like the respect was there mutually. Like, I did all these things and coached you in these ways, and you're not reciprocating that.
No, the respect wasn't there. He looked at what Big was doing. Is like, no, what you're doing is what I told you to do. That nigga Nas is original.
Yeah.
So the respect was different, yes.
Jay Short with the super chat says, when was the last AAA major label classic?
When was the last what?
AAA major label classic. Well, what was the last major label classic, you would say? Because a lot of the records that we talk about, they're more, these guys are on majors or somewhat distributed by them, but you know what I mean. That gets highly publicized. It might be more of a Damn thing, but I don't know if Damn's classic. I don't know.
I was actually about to say, I think we're going to have to go to Pimp a Butterfly.
Might be.
And you know how I feel about To Pimp. I'm not going to disrespect To Pimp a Butterfly is a classic. I think you're going to have to go to Pimp a Butterfly to get to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what is Daytona? What is Astro World? What is Alfredo? What is Pray for Paris? What is KD2? What is Magic? Those are the classics.
I think Astro World is a major label.
There we go. Astro World would be it then. Astro World's the last major release classic. I think you and I talked about that too. Victory Lap by Nipsey Hussle and Astro World by Trav. Yeah. Those are the last two industry classics, like major label classics.
Because even though
isn't that shit Nip shit anyway though? Is that major?
Yeah, no, that was technically Nip's first major label release.
Major label debut. Yeah. Right. So Victory Lap and Astro World. Yeah.
I don't think Daytona, I mean, even though he's a major artist, I don't think it checked the major label marks. But, whatever.
Astro World and Victory Lap.
Andre Shashir says, y'all like Cormega's new single? I haven't heard
We haven't got to that yet. Damn, Cormega got a single too? Okay,
what do y'all think about Cormega's single?
Mike, yeah.
Well, let me ask you what you think about the Liz's new single, Amani Caesar.
I'm gonna let you go first on that. Hold on. First of all, it's like I gotta pick my daughter up from work in a little bit, so I need to be ghost about 8:10. So we got
yeah. We'll get through it.
Yeah, we got about 30 minutes. No. I know we got time to dig through it because it's just we on the single tip now.
Yeah.
I want to know what
we had some great conversation today, though. I it wasn't a whole lot going on. So I wasn't sure where things were going to go. It went pretty great.
No, it always goes where... I mean, we got the best following because they are truly, like, engaging in heads and want to talk and want to disseminate and challenge us. And sometimes randomly, people pull up in the chat now and ruin my childhood and tell me stuff. But it's okay.
Yeah.
Live on air, they ruin my childhood.
Y'all literally create the show. You know what I'm saying? And we're just...
Yeah, like OG today, like, like he made the show. He just took a piece of my teenage years and just like snatched it and like just like Mike. Hold on, before we go any
I was
further,
kind of scared to ask the question too because I kind of asked the question to set
I can't help myself. Fuck all that. how Mike? How can LL be top 10 with the Sauce, Royce, and 50 ghostwriting credits? I'm just asking valid questions. I have to.
I have no words.
I love him to death. I love him to death. I do. I love him to death. He's amazing. He is our first. He wasn't a superstar because Snoop is our first superstar.
I feel like I disagree with you, but I feel you.
No, he wasn't a superstar the level that Snoop was because he never sold 5 million albums out the gate like Snoop did. But he was our first star, and what he did enabled Snoop to become that superstar more than anybody else. When I look at superstars in rap, that's the guy that enabled everybody to become a superstar. And I know he has plenty of original written material.
Yes.
But ghostwriting is still ghostwriting.
Listen, I want to play devil's advocate here, and I'm not trying to move the goalpost for one of our legends. But the gentleman said he was working in Def Jam, and it was all hands on deck when it came to this cannabis thing. And so we all know what LL Cool J means to the culture. It means to Def Jam specifically. At the same time, he's out here doing his sitcom. At the same time, he's probably making Any Given Sunday or whatever other movie, Deepest Dark, whatever it was, In Too Deep, whatever. And so maybe just for the sake of the brand and for the sake of, Def Jam as a whole, they wanted to make sure he was going to win this. Not to say that he couldn't come back with the record, but the man is being pulled a lot of different ways. I mean, I feel you, ghostwriting is ghostwriting, but I'm just trying to provide some level of context. It's not like LL Cool J's just sitting at home doing nothing and can't come up with a verse. You know what I mean?
No, and but that's not what I'm saying. Because, but what I'm saying is that, do we have any shroud of mystery about Rakim and any ghostwriters?
No, and I don't think that there's any debate when it comes to Rakim and LL.
Nas,
No.
Jay,
No.
Scarface,
No.
Ghostface, Ice Cube.
Well, there was that
Black
one
Claw.
time where there was, what's his name, man? Said he wrote Supreme Clientele or wrote a lot on there, but
Nobody buys that.
Yeah.
All right? Not buying what you're selling. Just because you're a hustler and you're selling it doesn't mean you're a good hustler. It doesn't mean you have a product that's worth buying. Okay.
I just thought I'd mention that. Yeah.
Raekwon, Black Thought. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Redman. Everybody that in L's echelon, there's no ghostwriting shroud around. And usually when we do our top 10 list, Mike, usually falls about 8, 9, 10.
This is what I'm going to
None
say,
of the
bro.
other guys before and after him, everybody pretty much from 1 to 15, Mike, has no ghostwriting smoke.
Cool. This is what I'm
Because we
going to
don't
say.
have Wayne in our top 15 really now, do we?
No. Because of those things. This is what I'm going to say.
Specifically, Wayne is not in my top 15 about the ghostwriting because everything else says that he should be there. So how can I do that to Wayne and not do that to L, even though I think L has had a better career?
I'm going to be honest, man. I think having a ghostwriter is having a ghostwriter. But to me, I think it's more points off if you got a ghostwriter for your battle rap song. You know what I'm saying?
That's a problem.
Is that fair to say? Because if you get a ghostwriter for a hit record, the way you didn't
want to ask the question is the way that I didn't want to make that sentiment.
Because
that's really what I'm getting at. It's like, it's not like it was like a single for the radio while you were busy doing your sitcom. You had them write your battle rhyme.
Yeah.
No.
That's hard, man. That's hard because I could see when it comes to like a radio single or something like that. Maybe you're not.
Paradise, I get. No, I get Paradise.
Yeah, maybe you're not the best hit writer now.
He's doing movie, film, TV, and hosting when Paradise is coming out. Yeah. I understand.
But a battle rap record? Because at that point, Coop, and I don't want to be a hypocrite, let's just say Eminem has all the money in the world. Interscope has all the money in the world. What if they go out there and hire a battle rapper to write his shit?
We're going to murder him on this show if he does that. If Eminem had a ghostwriter for this record, we would excoriate him to the highest degree, and you know that we would.
And we should.
And we should. So we have to be fair.
Nas the Goat says, damn, I sent y'all a mega single on Twitter. Shaking my head. You sure did. We're going to get to it. Friday's usually our new music day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
We usually just chop it up on Wednesday.
No, all jokes aside, like with everybody, the Patreon show on Monday has kind of like changed our loop and our flow. And like we have to catch our rhythm. Because like me and Mike pulled up today, like, oh shit, like we still got more music to get to because like we played like so give us some space. Let's get to the Armani record and get to these records that we actually have heard before we got out of here because we actually got 4 songs to go through.
Okay, let me go to the super chats and then we'll get on that. Andre Shashir says, I like it. It's called Essential, produced by Havoc. So Havoc produced it.
Oh, it's Havoc and for Megan. We about to talk about Megan and Havoc when we go through this Mobb Deep rundown before we go anyway.
Okay, 007 says, y'all know I rep Queens to the fullest. LL is no longer in the top 10. It's all I got to say. Damn. Man with the super chat says, Coop, you wrong. LL was a superstar before the 90s as a teen. Yeah, I'm with that, man.
Not superstar.
I feel what you're saying.
As in, like, outselling the R&B artists. You know, Snoop's the first rapper to, like, outsell the R&B motherfuckers. Like, it's like Snoop, the R&B artist wanted to sell Snoop records. No R&B artist in the 80s wanted to sell LL records. He was a star, not a superstar. I Need Love is his biggest charting hit, and that's 89. He wasn't that. He was a star. He's rap's first star. Snoop is rap's first superstar.
Well, what about the Fresh Prince?
Superstar, as in raps first, as a rapper being a superstar. The Fresh Prince was not a superstar rapper. He was a star. He did not become a superstar until he became an actor and a movie star.
Well, he won the first Grammy.
I mean, winning a Grammy doesn't mean that you're a rap superstar, though.
Okay, I just wanted to put it out there. Jay Short says, honest question, how is LL top 5 with no top 25 albums and only a handful of classic verses? Top 20 maybe. Where's his bar work? And I've always heard that, and that is a fair assessment. Like, if somebody asks you, what are your top 5 LL verses? Like,
no, this is why the
ghostwriting hurts. What is LL's best verse?
No, this is why the ghostwriting hurts, because his strength as an artist is actually his song writing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you think about the Armani Caesar record? I know you wanted me to go first. I like it. And you know how I feel about Armani.
It sounds like they're doubling down on the Griselda sound again, and I love it. Like, she could have shot at a different basket this go around. People know who she is now. Like, there are people they're literally, like, chicks, even like my sisters, like, that didn't know who she was 2 years ago, and they know who she is now. Her fame and her clout is a little different. She could have shot at a different basket, as in, like, she could have shot at the Megan and Lotto basket, and she didn't.
She understands her lane, and like you said, she's doubling down on it.
Well, here's the thing. She is creating. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I love the Liz, the first album.
Me too.
And I told you, like, I feel like she has something. Let's just say this: she's not the most skilled MC on some technical shit, but she has the vibe. She gets it. And she gets on a hardcore record and does things that, again, are reminiscent of what Foxy used to do on hardcore records for me. And I remember the first time I heard her on Fly God 2, I hit you. I was like, yo, man, this is different. I'm like, who is she?
You made a Lil' Kim reference. It's like, I haven't heard anybody feature like this, like star power-wise, since Lil' Kim coming out of New York, as far as like a female New York MC. And so this is why I love this record.
Mm-hmm.
I think she is carving a nice niche. And this is what her niche is going to be. Well, is she the lyricist that Che and Love are? No. Is she the made-for-radio, song-ready vixen that Megan and Lotto are? No. But she can do both. As in, she can get on the record with Megan and Lotto and transition seamlessly, and she can get on the record with Che and Love and transition seamlessly. And here's what's beautiful about
the bridge.
She understands that she's the bridge, and that's what I mean. She's doubling down on that, and she should, because guess what? Remember when I said I heard somebody that I thought was about to have a good career? When she dropped this song, I was like, and this is why. Because she's not placating to either side. She understands that she's dope enough, sexy enough, talented enough, skilled enough that she can play both sides. And so she is. And so she's like, no, I'm bad enough and I'm fine enough that I can put Benny and Stove on the record with me, and I'm still going to shine like a star, and my bar work is still there that I belong. How many females can we say that about in this game right now?
She's taken up, I mean, and there's a lot of, I think
very
there's a
Rod
lot.
Digger-like, actually, Mike, in a lot of ways.
What's that? Rod Digger-like?
Like, in the sense that it's like, well,
she
can go back and forth with Lauren, but she can go turn up the party with Busta.
You're right. I never thought about it like that. I
Yeah.
think that right now we have more women MCs that are getting attention in hip hop than I think I ever remember, really. And with that being said, she's taken up a space that I don't think any of them are.
Yeah.
She's like
Like
yeah, she's in a
like
great median of her own.
she's in a great medium. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, no, I trust her on a record with Remy, Rhapsody, Che, Love. But I trust her with Lotto and Megan and Sims. Like I trust her anywhere.
And
That's very
I know
it's
people were killing me on that premiere show that we did when we were talking about Remy Rap. And again, the bar work is there, the beat's there. I mean, the beat could have been better, whatever. But it's something that she adds to a track that's a flavor that, to me, that record specifically, and not to call it out, just doesn't have. It's like that record's a little, to me, it's a little bland. But if she's on there, she adds a level of flavor to a track or something, man. I don't know if, kind of like how we talk about with 2 Chainz, like he could just style you out of a track.
yes.
It's crazy.
What's that song on Hitler Wears Hermes where she like
Yeah.
outside Forest Lawn?
Yeah, and he's on
Yeah.
there too. Yeah,
Yeah. Like she's styling on Chains and West Side. I'm like, damn, I was like, isn't style both of y'all's thing?
yep.
Style's both of y'all's thing. She's styling on y'all.
I'm looking forward to the list too.
I'm looking forward to the list too. Now I want to say this real quick about Benny. Benny, Benny looks up to Conway. And he is starting to diversify his flow the way Conway did. What I heard on here, like he's made records where I've seen him try to switch up his flow, and it's been good. It's been like solid. This was dope as fuck. Like his verse on here was dope in terms of delivery, the cadence, and switching it up and providing the listener with something different. And so I was impressed by him. And here is my last thought, because I heard it when he did it. You know when Stove is making the "Everybody Loves Raymond" comment? Do you see how he stuttered the flow and spaced it out between a bar without using a lot of words?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Jay did the entire verse of Renegade that I'm talking about that's so special. Think about how dope Stove is, that Stove is doing it for a bar and you hear it and you're like, ah. Jay did that for a whole verse on Renegade. That's what I'm talking about, the entendre and the way that he layered the verse and made his bars and his alliteration sync up. It's hard.
We take Jay's greatness for granted, and he makes
We
it
take
seem
it for
very
granted.
easy.
That's what I'm saying. So understand what Stove did for one bar, Jay did literally for a whole verse on a song with Eminem, and people like, he got bodied. It's like, well, he didn't get bodied. Everybody just wasn't listening.
Yeah. Jay-Z, please come outside. We need
Jay
you.
is special. No, I just say that because it's like, I think we've killed the "This Is a Nas Channel" thing, but it's like when Jay do special shit and I hear other people do who are special, like Stove, do special shit that Jay can do at the drop of a fucking dime on a verse with like think about it. Eminem sent him that and he came up with that at the drop of a dime. Like he's special. And so when I hear other guys in that vein that have those capabilities, I want to highlight just how truly great Jay is at it in the moments where he's done it. Renegade was an example of that. Go listen to the part of the song where Stove uses the "Everybody Loves Raymond" line. Understand the 2 bars that are coming before that. And that bar is the whole way that the style on the Renegade verse is layered, and it's beautiful.
Giving Jay even more flowers, he recorded the Blueprint in a week.
9 songs in 2 days.
Was it, about a week and a half altogether. And
I think he said it took 10
I
days.
want to
10,
say,
days.
and just off the top of my head, because I think we counted this before, I want to say, in counting all the bonuses and everything, there's around like 38 to 40 verses on there.
Yeah.
Andre didn't do that for 4 Outkast albums.
Okay.
So that just lets you know, and again, I'm not downing anybody. I'm just saying, this man put together that kind of work in a week and a half, 2 weeks time.
No, you're right.
One effort.
No, you're right. What's
Mike 100 with the super chat says 50 said he wrote for LL. You guys are killing LL on this episode.
Yeah, Paradise.
And Miss LB with the super chat says LL was cemented before that Cannabis diss. Is that a race now? He battled other people before that. Is he
No,
past? Is his past battles in question too? I see
we
what
can't.
she's asking.
No, we can't erase that. But here's the reality of the matter: LL is there because of his songwriting and his hits, not because of his lyricism and his albums. So when you put the songwriting into question, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay Short
Not
with the
there for
super
his
chat. But
lyricism.
I
Like
think what she's
everybody in the top 10 is lyrically stronger than LL.
I think what she's kind of asking too, do we question the other records too? Or maybe I'm
Oh, no.
reading the
That's why I said
question wrong.
everything from 85 to 95 is submitted to me.
I mean, but we don't know. Maybe he had help on there too. I don't know. Who knows?
I
Jay
mean,
Short with the super chat says, "You think an all-female MCs compilation is overdue?" Eh,
you want to know what? Remember the song from the Panther soundtrack?
yeah. The Freedom. There was the
Freedom. Yeah, we need more of that. I'll take some more of that. I'll take
that
some
was
ladies'
a.
night and some freedom.
You know
Give me a
what?
compilation with some ladies' night and some freedom. There's enough ladies to go around.
You know what, Coop? That's a posse cut that we don't talk about enough.
What, freedom?
Yeah, that was
It's one
great.
of the best posse cuts ever.
Yeah,
You want to know why I talk about it? Because it's strong black women coming together to do something positive. That's why we don't talk about it.
shout out to Joy too. You know, that was her song originally, and you know they kind
I
of
didn't know that.
took it and
ATL.
did everything. Yeah,
ATL. You know.
Joy actually, I want to say Joy was the first artist that they labeled neo soul too.
Well, I mean, we are ATL, Mike. We are the souls of black folks. When W.E.B. Du Bois was writing The Souls of Black Folks, most of those thoughts and disseminations come from his time spent in A.
And shout out to Dallas Austin as well, a true creator. Well-versed Session says, if Nas never mentioned M on Ether, will we even be having this conversation? Every time I hear the Renegade chat, it normally involves the Nas punchline. I agree with that. I think that Nas's punchline actually made that a thing.
Yeah.
Even how he used stand as a verb, I think that kind of made stand a thing too.
But he knows that. Like, he knows that most cats don't listen.
Yeah.
Like, he knew he would get away with saying it.
Well, I mean, it's like when Jay,
because just your average rap ear tells you that Eminem killed him. Like the trained rap ear is like, hold on.
It's like when Jay said that, you know, he had the weakest flow on, you know, Uchiwali. Like, they're just saying these things.
Right.
Or like when Nas said that Beanie Siegel's better than Jay.
Or when like Nas is on the Stillmatic this talking about compared to beans you whack.
Yeah.
No. Or yeah. Or on Ether, he's like compared to beans you whack. It's like he's really just highlighting. He's like, oh no. You see him clicking on your heels. Like he's letting Jay know, I see beans clicking on your heels, fam. So stop talking that shit to me. You got somebody in your camp you should be worried about.
And Beans is
he
special.
Was right.
Beans is
and he
special.
was right about that. He was right about that.
Now, Beans couldn't do a lot of the things that Jay was able to do, but I will tell you this. That Timbaland song, In the Club, that kind of lets you know, like, yo, he could do these things. And even rock the mic.
When like, you say that he can't do those things, it's like, I don't know about
Beans
that.
Could do everything.
You want to know what? Feel It in the Air and The Evils is very comparable.
Feel It in the Air is crazy. When you think about the fact that Siegel had songs like Rock the Mic, to Feel It in the Air, to In the Club, to The Truth, anything. Like, this dude was super versatile. I told you, man, I mean, Black Thought's a super MC. But Beans is more entertaining to me.
No, Beans, okay, like I said, 1 and 2, the best two MCs that ever come out of Philly.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about it, is that like, well, show me the songs.
Well, all right, let me ask you this. What songs. Do you think Black Thought can make Feel It in the Air?
No. But I don't think anybody but Scarface or Tupac or DMX can make Feel It in the Air except for Siegel.
You know what we should do?
That's where he is. Like, you understand, that's where he is. He's like Scarface, Siegel, DMX, Pop. Like, he can make, only those guys can make those kinds of records. Like, the records he makes, like, those guys.
You know what we should do? We should do a Black Thought and Beanie Siegel matchup.
I don't want to do that to Siegel, but if you want to do that.
I would love to pick 20 Siegel joints to go up against your Black Thought / Roots joints. I'm going to pick features too now.
You don't want me to pick features, Mike. Making of a Murderer with Styles P. Super lyrical. You don't want me to do that?
Let me think about that. That might be up next.
Should think about
Now I
that.
know you got to get out of here, man. Do you want to talk about Murder Music real quick?
I want to talk about the rock joint and then murder
Oh yeah,
music,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm sorry, the Rock Marciano joint.
And the JID. Like, let's run it down like quick.
Okay.
So the rock joint, that's your guy. Now you start off. I started with Armani. You talk about your guy. Deja Vu.
I like it. It's not emeralds or anything like that, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they're gonna put together as a collective. It's really tough for me now hearing these type of artists' songs individually before the effort comes out. Like some of these songs sound like they would probably fit in the mesh of a whole album, and they're putting them out there as singles per se, but they're not really singles. You know what I mean? But it's a dope record.
That's what I thought. So I actually love this, and I'm gonna tell you why I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a single.
Mm-mm.
This is a snippet. This is just to give you an idea of what the crack in the room smells like. It's like, this isn't the product. I just want you to, you smell that in the room?
And
That's
I think
what
they
we
needed
went
to do that.
This is, and how about this? This is kind of what we wanted Black Thought to do with cheat codes that we talked about on the Patreon shows. Is like, but don't give me too much. Just give me enough so I can smell it in the air and feel that you're coming. Don't give me aquamarine and gold teeth. Hold one of those.
Yeah.
Don't give me because and strangers. Hold one of those. You feel me? And so when I heard this record, I'm like, oh, this is dope. They got the Rockin' quote at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Listen to what I'm saying about how I like it and how it's framed. Where is Rock from?
Long Island.
Where's Rockin' from?
Long Island.
I think this is about to be Rock Marciano's best album.
I'm looking forward to it.
And I think, based on how we feel about cheat codes and the other stuff that we've hearing this year, you pick cheat codes for album of the year. I don't think it's going to win album of the year.
I don't think it is either.
I picked KD3. But you and I spoke about the three outliers, and we said the outliers are this Rock and Alchemist project. Gibbs, Cole, Rock is coming. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
This sounds dope. Production-wise, I was starting to think that Alchemist might be the Biggie Smalls of the producers. As in, he's really just good at everything. Like, think about what his run just lately has been back. Like, lately. It's like, well, you done had a whole album with Gibbs, with Rock. You've contributed to this Griselda thing. You've got tracks with Nas. You've got tracks with Wayne. You've got tracks with Prodigy, rest in peace. You got tracks with Kiss and Styles. You got fucking tracks with everybody. Like who really has, you want to know what he's building? He's building that hardcore, like, hip-hop head resume that Dilla didn't get to build because he passed, Mike.
Yeah, no, you're right.
He's getting to build the Dilla resume because, like, we all know that Dilla was the best beat maker, but we don't get to necessarily call him the greatest producer ever because the catalog doesn't speak to such. What does it say when the beat maker is creating the catalog? Like, we need to have a whole nother conversation about Alchemist and what he does.
I hear the Alchemist has a staff out there, and I would imagine, I don't say staff like it's a big thing, but he has some people to, go get records and things like that because he's producing a lot of stuff. And because I think I might have put that out on the show one time, and somebody responded. It was like, yeah, these are some of the cats that, they collectively do whatever. Saying all that to say, and I think what he's doing is incredible. I don't think I've ever heard that Dilla had any help anywhere. I don't think I've ever heard that.
I don't know if I've seen a producer ever work like this, though, Mike.
Oh, yeah, I agree. This run is crazy.
It's like when you're saying Dilla didn't have help, it's like, well, he also never worked like this.
I don't know, man. He got a lot of lost tapes. There's like a whole bunch of Dilla tapes. People are still picking Dilla beats now.
Mike, Alchemist has been making whole albums for cats for like 15 straight years now. It's not the same crazy conversation.
You're right. Midget Mike with the super chat says,
all respect to Dilla. Like, how about this? If Dilla has made as many beats as Alchemist in the same time frame, it's like, well, no. Alchemist put the projects out Like it's not floating around. It's not here. It's not there. He's
Right.
working with artists and putting on out albums. Think about this. Like we got 3 Boldy James projects. We got all this Griselda
It's
work.
crazy.
We got the Rock Marciano shit. Like he's everywhere. I was playing You Ain't Got Nothing on Me the other day with Fabulous and Jewels, and I'm thinking like, damn. I'm like, he got shit with everybody. I'm playing Book of Rhymes off Godson, and I'm thinking like, damn, he is on Godson.
Keep
He
it thorough.
is on the Carter 3.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah. Midget
Yeah.
Mike with the super chat says, "What makes an accepted reference track or ghostwriter?" I don't understand the question. First of
Never
all, I
accepted.
think reference tracks are worse. Ghostwriter is kind of hearsay. With a reference track, it's like,
Right.
you see the proof right here. I know we got to get out of here. It's like 8:15, so
Yeah.
we can finish up some of this on Friday. But yeah, great
Well,
show.
apparently we need to talk about the Cormega song right quick. So can I just end with like some murder music talk right quick?
Go ahead.
So the infamous Hell on Earth and Murder Music is the best run of East Coast gangster rap ever. It's 3 straight classics. That right there, when I tell you it's like, oh, well, we think Outkast is better, and some of that may be biased, this is where it lies at, because it's like, well, I think the infamous is better than Southern Playalistic. Hell on Earth and AT Aliens could be a wash. Now, Clemini might be better than Murder Music, Mike, but Murder Music is a tour de force of East Coast hip hop. Listen to the shit that's on here. One of the reasons that made me want to talk about it, I didn't realize how many people love The Realist with Cool G Rap the way that I did.
Mm-hmm.
It is the number 1 song people have bought up on our YouTube page, is probably being the best song on this album. I don't think it's the best song on this album. That belongs to Quiet Storm still. But Mike, Streets Raised Me. What's Your Poison with Cormega, who snapped on there? How You Want It. Bent Skied, a straight blunted. As in, you drinking, you snorting, you smoking. Right. Going Out with Little C's. Where You From with 8 Ball. Quiet Storm remix. Think about this. How many times in the 90s is Nas a feature on an album and it's not a top 5 song on the album? Because that's what It's Mine is on Murder Music. It's Mine. I don't know if It's Mine is a top 5 song. I love It's Mine, but it's a Scarface sample. It's a dope Nas verse. They're taking the Boy Is Mine hook. I mean, is it better than Quiet Storm or The Realist? No. Is it better than What's Your Poison? The Streets Raised Me? No. So it's already at number 4. I would tell you that Spread Love, Not War. You know what I'm saying? There's so much shit on there. The other joint with Ray.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. This is a classic. And here's what I want people to understand too. The original version of this, I'm glad they didn't put it out, because the original version of this has the intro. And it has Streets Raised Me towards the back end. And Streets Raised Me needed to start off this album. That album starts off with the intro, the same intro, USAI, and then it goes into a track that didn't get released called Feel My Gap Below. Feel My Gap Below is one of Havoc's best beats. So that's just a little murder music talk right quick.
Well, I'm going to listen to that tonight.
Go look up Feel My Gap Below by Mobb Deep. That was supposed to be on Murder Music. That's the only thing that was missing from Murder Music, and it's still a classic. That is a brilliant album.
Miss LB with the super chat says, "Just wanted to let y'all know Fresh Out Podcast gave y'all love on their show a few days ago. Run up the numbers, A2HH. Yeah, shout out to Fresh Out Podcast. They want to do an interview with us. I think initially they said today, but yeah, today's not going to work. So we're going to holler at them, and we're going to connect with them, and make sure y'all go out there and rock with the Relax and Relieve CBD and the promo code A2HH for 10% off. Man, we're going to holler at y'all Friday, man. This was a great show. We learned a lot once again. So I love it.
Stressful.
All right, man. We're going to holler at y'all Friday.